Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is, Does exercise really heal depression? My answer from both my professional and personal experience is a definitive yes, it does. In the 15 years of running depression support groups, I've had countless clients tell me over and over again that exercise, whether it's going for a walk or a 3-mile run, definitely elevates their mood. When they exercise, they say the fog in their brain lifts, they feel more alert, more energized, and more uplifted. And this occurs again and again and again. Now, this is not just anecdotal evidence from my personal experience. Countless scientific studies have showed the connection between aerobic fitness and mental health. And 2 of these studies appeared in a recent article in the New York Times. In the first study, scientists examined 1.1 million adult men and women, that's right, and measured their levels of aerobic fitness and how depressed they were. And they found a striking correlation between levels of fitness and the level of depression. Turns out that the people in the top third of aerobic fitness compared to the people in the bottom third, the people in the bottom third were 75% more likely to become depressed than the people in the top third of fitness. And in the middle third of people, they were 25% more likely to be depressed, again, than the top third. So bottom third, 75% more likely to be depressed. Middle third, 25% more likely to be depressed. Hence, a clear correlation between level of fitness and your mental health. In a second study, researchers pulled together 25 previous studies in which people in the middle of a depressive episode were asked to begin an exercise program. This program consisted of moderate exercise such as brisk walking, jogging, hiking, bicycle riding. What they found was that, sure enough, when people began an exercise program and completed it, it had a large and significant effect in terms of lessening depression. I remember one person said, it didn't seem like much, 16 minutes a day of being on a treadmill, but when I got off, I felt less irritable, less down. I didn't snap at my partner as much. When things came my way that were negative, they simply rolled off my back compared to when I took everything personally. And so there were countless people said things like this, showing again that exercise can really help with depression. Here's what the lead researcher said. He concluded with, the takeaway from these studies is that to maintain their mental health, people should be as active as possible. Now, this is all well and good, but there's only one problem in being active when you're depressed, and that is many people who are depressed are inactive. One of the 9 symptoms of depression is, quote, psychomotor retardation, which means that people are kind of walking around like they're walking through molasses. Hard to feel active when you're in that state of mind. And the other problem, of course, is that people who are depressed don't have the motivation to do much of anything, let alone exercise. So how do we overcome this? Well, I found 2 ways in running my groups. The first is I ask people to pick an exercise they enjoy. Think of the E in exercise and the E in the enjoy, making a connection. Now, this could be walking, running, swimming, cycling, doing martial arts, resistance training, gardening, anything that you possibly could like to do. It's going to make it much more likely you're going to pick that exercise. And the second, even more potent way to get around the inertia factor is to do the exercise or work out with another person. Because when you do something with another person, you've got someone to keep you company, somebody to make you accountable. It makes a huge difference. And here's 2 stories from my group. Way back in 2001, when I started these groups, we had some folks showing up, 2 of whom moved from out of town to Portland. The other was a resident here. But they all happened to be living 10 blocks from each other. These were 3 women, all about the same age. And they decided to form a little walking group. They all were working, so around 6:30, 7 in the morning, they got up, met on the corner of 35th and Yam Mill or whatever, and walked 20 minutes in the neighborhood. And they made that a ritual, which they did again and again and again, over and over for many, many months. Another example was even more dramatic. We had 3 men in the group. They were all retired, again, all the same age. One of them was really severely depressed, could not get up until maybe 1 p.m. Well, this was not going to work out very well. So the other two, John and David, would show up at his house around 9:30, would knock on the door, rouse him out of bed, give him some coffee from Starbucks, and literally drive him down the Columbia River Gorge to the base of a beautiful hike called Angel's Rest, 1,500 feet uphill. I know that's a lot, but this guy happened to be really strong. He was retired from the post office, so he knew what it was like to walk long distances. So up they went. They got to the top of Angel's Rest. The brain fog lifted. The guy felt great. He enjoyed his friends. He came home and he went back to sleep. Well, this happened over and over again. And over time, Ed felt more and more motivated to get up and meet his friends until finally he actually was up before they came, made a pot of coffee and welcomed them, and off they went to do their hiking. So a person who was really, really resistant to exercise, with the help of two buddies, found it something to look forward to. This is precisely why I like to bicycle with other people. When I think of climbing Rocky Butte by myself, I often think, oh, why bother, especially when it's cold or cloudy or even rainy like it is so much of the time in Portland, Oregon. But when a friend cycles up to my door and says, let's go, Doug, please join me, I hop to it and get on my bike, especially when this friend is Zandy. I don't know if you remember, but I just did a video called How Not to Be Depressed, where Zandy and I rode around the neighborhood of Portland, Oregon and talked into the camera and talked about strategies to maintain your mental health. So when Zandy or Peter or Tom or Ann or any of my friends come and ask me to go on a ride and show up at my door, of course I'll go with them. And by the time I get to the top of Rocky Butte, a half hour later, my mind is clear, the fog is lifted, and I have a deep sense of well-being. In conclusion, countless studies have shown that exercise can treat mild to moderate depression as well as antidepressants. This is why the head of the American Psychiatric Association recently wrote that every psychiatrist on his prescription pad, in addition to writing the name of a medication, should write down exercise 30 minutes a day. Exercise lifts the mood as well as drugs. It has a quicker onset. You don't have to wait 4 to 6 weeks. And the only side effects are a healthy heart and greater joy and vitality. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. If you want to leave your comments, do so in the comments section, or you can email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. And if you want to learn more about my work by going to my website or subscribing to the channel, simply click on the links in the closing credits. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery and in becoming more active. Thank you and look forward to seeing you again.